Let's bring in General Jack Keane, four-star general, Fox News strategic analyst, chairman of the Institute for the Study of War. General, your thoughts about the deal that's going to be coming down today, and they're going to announce it about 11 o'clock.
Well, I think it's overwhelmingly positive, and certainly both sides had a compromise to get the deal, which is pretty normal and certainly something President Trump is used to seeing. And why is it so positive? Well, look at it. It ties the United States to Ukraine for a generation in terms of exploration and mining for these rare minerals. It ties us economically, politically, and obviously with an unbelievable interest in the future security of Ukraine. Why? Because if war continues, there's no exploration, there's no construction going on, there's no mining going on during a conflict. That's for sure. And Putin, you know full well, does not like this deal. So this deal is in the United States and Ukraine's interest, and that's what makes it a good deal.
General, as you know, in 2014, they stopped fighting, and the ceasefire was breached in 2022 with the invasion. This time, allies are saying we're going to put a peacekeeping force of maybe 30,000 there. The UK said you can count us in. It looks like France, too, not us. But you say that's a non-starter for Russia? Well, that's a stop for, that's also a non-starter for the West.
Well, I think it remains to be seen if Putin is really going to negotiate, and that means be willing to make some compromise. He's already come in with a hardline position at the negotiations that took place yesterday, where they said they want more territory than what they're occupying. He wants Ukraine to demilitarize. He wants them to have an election so he can undermine that election successfully, as he's done very much in the past, and hopefully get a stooge in there that he can influence and control. He wants Ukraine to go down to 85,000 troops only and only be able to fire a missile 40 kilometers, 25, 30 miles, in other words. So those are very hard-line positions. It remains to be seen how much progress we're going to make here. But Putin has got major military problems and personnel problems coming in 25. There's a lot more pressure inside on Putin than what is recognized publicly. Ukraine going into this, they mentioned, as we just discussed here, they want some future security here. And certainly the Euros providing peacekeeping forces a step in that direction. But listen, here's what we do know, Brian. If we get a deal and there is ceasefire and some kind of an agreement, Putin will look at that as a temporary pause. In the meantime, China, Iran, and North Korea will continue to arm him. Sanctions relief likely will take place. That'll give him the opportunity to recover his defense industrial base. President Zelensky knows this. The Trump team know this. What else could we do then to strengthen Ukraine to deter Putin? We can help him build an F-16 Air Force, give him long-range missiles, air defense systems, artillery weapons, all the things that we've done that have helped to make a difference, just not in time to be decisive by the Biden administration. More tanks and armored vehicles. The Trump team can come up with their own list with Zelensky, but just to give our audience a feel for what that would take place. And guess what, Brian? There's no reason for the American taxpayers to spend $1 on this. The brilliant journalist Mark Thiessen and I wrote an op-ed about this deal that's coming right now on rare minerals, but also using Russian frozen assets. And the State Department can issue loans. They just issued a foreign military funding loan to Poland, $11 billion. It's a loan. What is Poland going to do with that? Build up their defense industrial base. We can do much the same with Ukraine and take the American taxpayer off the table, but strengthen Ukraine in terms of their own security to deter a future attack from Russia, which Zelensky knows will come at some point.
So interesting, because you could tell Putin, how do you, if you want that hard line, if you walk away from the table, you're not going to like what's going to happen in Ukraine. So there's going to be a price to pay. Also, does he want to alienate Donald Trump the first months of an administration, who he's got to deal with for the next 4 years? The question is, how much pain is Vladimir Putin and his country in? General, I just love talking to you about it because you're right at the tip of the spear. Thanks so much.
Yeah, great talking to you, Brian. You and the team have a wonderful weekend.
All right, thank you.